This seems like a reasonable setup. It's been a while since we've been able to do an outside video. Last time I did this, it was 2013-ish, and well, that was the first time I really got into the sermon thing. And with tomorrow, Sunday usually being observed as what Christians and Jews call, quote, the Sabbath, and I believe in Judaism, Sabbath is Saturday, which would be today. While I'm not Jewish, I do have to ask myself, the whole meaning of taking what is a rest day? What is rest break? Most people are so inundated with work and taking care of things like around the house. It's like nobody ever has time for like themselves anymore. And in a way, I'm kind of taking time for myself, but this is the will of God. And what does that mean? What is God? What does the word God mean? Well, I do not have a computer on hand to examine the etymology of the word. I do have a Bible in front of me, and it's open to a chapter that I came to. I forgot what I was looking up and how I got to it, but I got to it, and it really began to resonate. Exodus 31, and so I'd like to read and talk a bit. The Eternal One instructed Moses, "Look, I have a special calling upon one of the sons of Judah. His name is Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur. I have filled him with God's Spirit, gifted him with wisdom, understanding, knowledge, and skills, with a variety of crafts. He's an expert designer and works well with gold, silver, and bronze. He's able to cut and set gems, work with wood, and skillfully perform any craft needed to help construct the congregation tent and its furnishings. I have appointed Aholiab, son of Ahasmach, of the tribe of Dan, to assist Bezalel. I have gifted all of Israel's artisans with the skills needed to build everything I have instructed you: the congregation tent, the covenant chest, the seat of mercy that covers it, all the furnishings for the tent, the table and its accessories, the pure gold lampstand with all its tools, the altar of incense, the altar for burnt offerings with all its utensils, the washing basin and its stand, the woven garments, Aaron's sacred priestly garments, the clothes worn by Aaron's sons when they serve as my priests, the anointing oil, the fragrance incense to be used in the holy place. The craftsmen are to design and build all of these exactly as I have instructed you." The Eternal One instructed Moses regarding the Sabbath. "Speak to the Israelites and tell them, you must be careful to observe my Sabbaths. For the Sabbath day serves as a sign between me and you for all generations, so that you will know I am the Eternal One who has set you apart from all the other nations. Keep the Sabbath because it is sacred for you, different from all other days. Anyone who violates the Sabbath or defiles it must be executed. Anyone who works on the Sabbath will be cut off from the community. You have 6 days out of every week to do exactly what work is needed, but the seventh day is the Sabbath, a day set aside for rest and only rest. It is sacred to me. Anyone who works on the Sabbath must be executed. Therefore, Israelites are to keep the Sabbath and celebrate it throughout all the generations as an everlasting covenant. The Sabbath exists as a sign forever of the covenant between me and the people of Israel, for I made heaven and earth in 6 days, but then on the seventh day I stopped my work and was refreshed." When God had finished these instructions to Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave Moses the 2 stone tablets as a witness to their agreement inscribed by the very finger of God. Now, when I was first reading this passage, I put myself in Moses' shoes, and I kind of imagined what it was like to be, quote, on top of the mountain, because I very much feel like I'm there metaphorically, and in a way am using not just my fingers, but my voice, my mind, my entire being as a vessel to perform the work of God. And in many instances, even when I'm sitting before, a blank sheet of paper, which is one of the most liberating and mentally freeing experiences anyone could ever experience and partake in, and having a pen in front of you or a pencil or something to write with, and letting whatever is inside just flow out. It's a very, very, very liberating experience. And many times growing up, I would get frustrated that I didn't like the first thing that I did, so I'd ball up the piece of paper and throw it away, because I am that demanding of perfection in myself, apparently. 32. When the people realized Moses was taking a long time to return from his trek up the mountain, they got together and approached Aaron. We have no idea what happened to his fellow Moses, who brought us out of the land of Egypt. He left you in charge, so get up and make us gods who will lead from here. I want you to bring the gold and earrings of your wives, sons, and daughters are wearing. So everyone took out their gold earrings and handed them to Aaron. He collected the gold they brought and used a tool to fashion an idol in the shape of a calf. When the people saw the calf Aaron made, they were elated. Israel, these are your gods, the one who led you out of the land of Egypt. When Aaron saw how the people responded, he built an altar in front of the golden calf. We're going to have a feast to the Eternal tomorrow. Everyone woke up before dawn the next day and presented burnt offerings and peace offerings on an altar. When the food was ready, they sat down to eat and drink, and then rose up to dance and play. Meanwhile, on the mountain, the Eternal One spoke to Moses. So, just after Moses receives the instructions on, everyone needs to, work hard for 6 days and then, chill on the last day because that's worship. Moses was gone so long that the people started to panic, and the leaders who were appointed temporarily in charge decided to, not knowing what to do, create images to worship, for the people to worship as objects of control. And when things started going right during this period, they attributed their successes to this golden calf, this idol, this graven image, as the reason for their success. And it kind of pissed God off. Eternal One was like, go back down the mountain immediately, because you people who you led out of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They have quickly abandoned the way of life I require of them. They fashioned a calf out of gold, bowed to it, and offered sacrifices. They are crediting my work to that detestable idol. Israel, these are your gods, the one who brought you out of the land of Egypt. I know these people, and they are unbelievably stubborn. Leave me alone so that my anger can flare up and destroy them. Then I will start over and continue my plans without them and make a great nation out of you. Interesting. So this is the God of the Bible. This is the anger. This is the rage. It pissed him off so that it took time to get angry. It wasn't something that he could just snap to, because the act of destruction is time-consuming. It's not instantaneous. It's not something that can be immediately... everyone thinks the world's going to end in a flash or some nuclear war, but it's really going to be not really an end so much as a purge, which is why people need to get right with God. Eternal One, why are you so angry? Why does your anger flare up against the people you led out of Egypt with so much power and a strong hand? Do you really want Egyptians to say you have deceived them, led them to the mountain in order to kill them, to wipe them from memory of the earth? I beg you to curb your anger and change your mind. Don't harm your people. Remember the sacred promise you made your servants Abraham, Isaac, and Israel. You swore, I will make you descendants as many as the stars in the sky, and I will give them all of this land as I promised. I will be their everlasting inheritance. So the Eternal relented and decided not to destroy the people, as he had threatened to do so. Moses left God's presence and went back down the mountain, carrying 2 stone tablets, which were God's handiwork. As they neared the camp, Joshua heard all the commotion. It sounds like a battle going down at the camp. Moses was like, it's not the sound of victory, and it's not the sound of the defeat. It's the hearing, singing, and celebration. As soon as Moses arrived at the camp, he saw the calf and the revelry around it. His anger flared, and he hurled down the stone tablets, and they shattered at the feet of the mountain. He took down the calf and burned it. He ground it down to a powder, scattered it over the water, and then forced the Israelites to drink it. He made the Israelites drink gold. How could you lead these people to such a heinous sin? What did they do to you? Control your anger, my master. You know these people. You know how evil they can be. They told me, we have no idea what happened to this fellow Moses who brought us out of the land of Egypt. They left you in charge, so get up and make us some gods to lead us from here. So I told them, if you are wearing any gold, take it off. So they gave me all the gold, and I just tossed it into the fire, and out came this calf. When Moses saw that the people had lost all control because Aaron had let them get that way, he realized their wild behavior had become a mockery in the sight of their enemies. He stood at the camp's entrance and shouted at them, "If you are on the side of the Eternal One, stand over here with me." All the Levites gathered around him. To Levites, this is the message of the Eternal One, Israel's true God. Quote, "Every one of you strap your sword and move throughout the entire camp. Kill your brother, friend, and neighbor." The Levites did exactly as Moses told him to do, and about 3,000 men were killed that day. And to the Levites, dedicate your lives to the Eternal today, for every one of you has moved against sons and brothers. Because of your devotion to God, you have earned his blessing today. On the next day, Moses addressed the people. You are guilty of a great sin. Now I am going back to the Eternal One, and I hope to make atonement for your wickedness. Moses then went back up the mountain to the Eternal. These people are guilty of a great sin against you. They fashioned gods out of gold for themselves. If you will only forgive their sin, but if you do not, then erase me from the book you have written. I will erase from my book the name of everyone who has sinned against me. It is time to go and leave this mountain. Lead the people to the place I told you. Look, my messenger will guide you there. When the time comes, I will punish them for what they have done. Then the Eternal sent a plague on all of the people because they had bowed down and sacrificed to the calf that Aaron had made. That's Exodus 31 and 32, which is a very powerful metaphor to intake at this point in my life. If tomorrow is the Sabbath, or if today's the Sabbath, or if I'm currently resting, or am I still working? Is this work? I feel this is necessary. At any rate, there is a Sabbath, and you have to define a Sabbath day in the week, and it might as well be Sunday. And we must get right with how we live our lives and how we use every moment between consumption and the purpose of consumption and creation in general. We must emulate the old ways. We must tap into the past, and we must find what revitalizes our spirits and give us strength and energy to put ourselves out there to the fullest of our abilities. I hope everyone has a great weekend. God bless you all. Peace, love, and harmony.